world and put so much progress in it. We beat the world too early on, and now I don't even want to do the last thing that would finally make the main world complete. For some weird reason, I want to start fresh. I have four other worlds. Two of them almost no progress in, and two of them we're about to beat. This is it. I want to do this right. We have literally five worlds, bro. We have five worlds. I want to do this right. We haven't done any of them right. I want to do this right. So first things first. When we get the save, which is going to take a while, I'm probably going to have to reload the save like 7 times. At worst, maybe. Once we get the save, okay? Which, don't join me, by the way. I'm going to do it by myself. I'm going to just talk real quick. When we get the save, first thing I want to do is we cannot be lazy bums, sit back and do jack squat. Alright, we can't be lazy bums, sitting back, doing jack squat, not going to any cave. We always end up wasting like 7 days early on, right? We don't visit the caves, we spend the whole time building. At most, we'll take over the main camp, and this will take literally not even 5 minutes in game to build a log sled and a stick holder, maybe a rock holder, and an extra holder. But besides that, we don't need anything else. Alright? I mean, we're gonna need it, but we gotta do this right. So, now that we saw the trap area, I know how it works. It's, light, 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 cabinet, cabinet, sleepy thing. Then there's birthday trap, birthday trap. In the middle, they're gonna get through, so we're gonna have to figure that out. I want to put a noose trap on the side, or something like that. The defense spikes don't work because they get in. The birthday traps they climb over, so we have to have some kind of defense mechanism right there. Like, for example, a Molotov wire or something if they pass through it. Um, if we take over the main camp, I do want it to be where we can actually walk through and gather fish. We did that with two other worlds. It was one of the best ideas we could have ever done. I'm just trying to rehearse what we're gonna do because I don't want to mess up this world. Having another, world like this is gonna be crazy. I don't want to mess that up. So I'm just trying to plan it all out, what we're gonna do. I've always weirdly wanted between the plane to the main camp to be full boxed in. That way we never get attacked. However, then the trap area wouldn't be good, we wouldn't have anywhere to fight, and there wouldn't really be much fun. So, I have another plan that I just thought of. What if, hear me out, how about this? We build a tower. This is actually a good idea. Think about it. We build stairs up from the plane, you walk up, and it's just a platform. Just a platform. Well, oh my god, I think this is the best idea I've had yet. That way, okay, so we need to figure out how to build. Okay, hold on. If we build, just give me a minute, okay? I will play the forest with you. I don't know whenever you're gonna go to bed. I don't know. You might go to bed in like another hour or something, or a few hours, or I don't know. But just give me a few minutes, all right? I'm thinking. I'll figure it out eventually. I just gotta. You just play the forest in your world or something like that, or whatever you do. I'm thinking about it. If we build foundation, they'll get through it. We shouldn't do a zip line. We could get hit by a Molotov if they throw it at the wrong angle, or if we hit something along the way, we could fall. It's better if we build structure. Building a zip line, once again, isn't structure, so we shouldn't do that. If we build a set of stairs going up to the plane, out, and then up from the plane. Alright, picture this. Picture the plane, right? And on the, picture the hole. You know how the plane's cut in half and that makes a hole you could fall through? Look at the hole from a reverse angle, right? Like you're about to enter the plane, right? Not that you're about to get off with it, you're about to enter the plane, right? Looking at the plane as you're about to enter it, there's the left side of the little entrance and the right side, right? Picture on the left side, we have a set of stairs going up into it. And then, I'll press R2 a couple of times so that I could turn the stairs around. And then, what if on the right side we'll have stairs going up? If from what I remember correctly, stairs, if you do them just right, you can make them like a platform. And you can have the stairs going up, around, and then up into the plane. That way we can get back in. And then up and around, okay, up there, and we could have it as like a platform. And then we could have the stairs going down. And, if we wanted to, we could add a zip line going across. But if we could just add. That's actually so smart. Because hear me out, right? Here's another thing we could do. We could build one platform, and make a tree bridge going across. Right? It would be more wonky. It wouldn't be as, professional, in my opinion. But it would work. It would work. I know now I think about it, it might have, foundations in the custom stairs, because you can only have it built up so much. Maybe not. Because you still want the cannibals to come out and fight us, That's why we're gonna have the trap area and everything. You still want them to be able to come out and attack us. I'm just saying, if we have foundation, right, like where there's little poles holding it up, they're gonna hit that and not be able to walk through, and if they can't, then we can't either. So that's going to make a wall that's going to cut it in half, and plus, even if we do build something to block them, we won't have the trap area. So the point of taking over the main camp is to have not only good resources and to be by the caves, but it's also to get a lot of kills because it's the main camp. It's very dangerous to take it over, but it's also good that you do, that way you can get a bunch of kills. So maybe that's their idea, it would work. The shadow would be in the way a lot, which would be so annoying. It would always remind me that there's something up, but having that, and then going to the little pond, block it off, they can't get in. Trap area, boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. That. The same way as the main camp, just new. Okay, we're also gonna need to go there. Caves. There we go, there to hunt. In the game The Forest 2018, can you place zip lines on custom foundation? Custom zipline log catchers?
How to make custom log catchers, but I'm also going to show you how they work and what can go wrong with them, including Zebulon's one, the one using the gazebo. So after many years of not understanding how they work, I finally figured it out. And yes, they are great. I'll put timestamps in the video so you know what sections are what, such as how to build them, etc. And also there'll be a link in the description for Zebulon.
There is a single player log glitch?
Freedom to design your own, and you can make it look pretty much how you want within reason, but you'll see. Now, originally this video I had recorded, edited, and completed, and then I found out a few things that made me have to go through and re-edit the video. So it might be a little bit messy, but I'll try and keep it as consistent as possible. I've had to re-edit about half the video, which is annoying, I will say. Yep, now this is another supplementary voice add-on to say that I redid the entire video, and I thought, oh, I made the other video completely, I'm going to upload it and have it unlisted. It'll be in the description of this
What
video.
the frick?
The answer is, do you need a log catcher? And the answer is probably going to be yes. I did a test on how far away logs can go before the game makes them explode. I first tested it out when they went out of render. I thought they were going to explode, so I jumped on the zip line and went, and they didn't explode, they just fell on the ground. But it wasn't far at all. This zip line was about 4 meters long. I decided to go with one that's 5 rooms long. I think it was possibly about, I don't know, 8 meters longer than the other one. I don't know how many feet that is, and they just violently exploded. So you really cannot go far without making a log catcher of some kind. They all spawn inside each other and sit there, and as soon as a player comes along, they all reappear, and because they're inside each other, they explode, which is not fun. What makes it worse is if they land on water, because getting them off water is an absolute nightmare. Now, the main reason I have to go through and re-edit it was I was testing out the crane because originally that was the best one I could find for the log catcher. However, I found out that the crane platform itself, logs on the zipline don't collide with it for some reason. Though if you've got something on top of the platform, you discover that they can be collided with. I haven't explored this massive amounts, but it's very useful information to know because they go through the platform, but once they spawn in, they'll collide with it. So if you send 50 logs down, they'll go through it. Once you go near it and they reappear, they will explode still. So if you've got the platform too low, they'll explode. Now, there's a few designs I've come up with. Originally, I thought the crane was the best one, but the issue is placement. If you build the zipline, then place the crane, there is a chance it can clear it. I have not been able to figure out why this is. It appears to be random. It seems to be like an event in the game that gets triggered that will either clear it or it won't. So if it starts clearing it, it's going to keep clearing it. Once it stops clearing it, it won't continue to clear it again until you save and exit. And because of that painful process, I'm kind of not so keen about the crane anymore. The greater the angle of the zip line, the more complicated I think the structure's going to be. Like, there's one that I made that was one level and worked really well because the angle of the zip line was quite straight, so I made it easy to get into. The best one I found, however, involved making it basically 2 stories high, and it's still relatively cheap to do. You can make them smaller, though you run the risk of more logs falling out, but not many. And I did do another design, which was basically using rock walls to see if I could save on logs, and it can be done. I tried with pillars, which was one of the most boring and tedious things to ever do, and it didn't even work that well. Logs were falling out. I did completely seal it up with rock walls, and it did work a lot better. They're still not very fun to do, and it's not made out of log holders, so you have to store the logs somehow. Though I did end up turning it into a little bit of a castle tower. I thought I'd spice it up a little bit, but it still didn't look very good though. Now, the old way of catching logs doesn't work. That was making a floating zip line and having them fall down. They released a patch not long after the zip line came out that made the logs collide with each other. Before, they would just all fall down, but now they explode. So this old design doesn't work. They won't fall down, they'll just explode mid-air. Now, this was one of the smallest log catches I was able to make. I don't really recommend it. It ends up costing a lot anyway, and it was a real pain to make because if I went in there, I got stuck. I used the chandelier to keep the logs in there. But as you can see from testing it, it does work, but because it's relying on pressure to keep them all in there, they start shooting out the front and they rotate around in circles, which I don't think would be very good for performance at all. But that's just to show you how small they can go. Now, one of the ones I tested just before recording this was using a roof, because I thought a roof would be quite cheap if it's got no wall around it. I did add a rock wall. I don't really count rocks as being expensive because they're pretty easy to get. It's more tedious than anything. I didn't make it look very clean, but it managed to keep all the logs in there except one shot out the
Oh, he
front.
did this in a
It shot too
custom.
far, so you can make like a little house out of this one. But I'm going to show you how to do the main one. Now, first, place the zip line that you want to place. Then what you do, you get the custom foundation out and you go along the side about the width of the zip line. So if there was another zip line right next to it, just go to that distance. You can actually make them a lot smaller, but I think this is a good size. It prevented a lot more explosions. And you try to aim for that middle pillar. There should be 3 pillars on the foundation itself. Try and get that right in the middle. It will end up a bit cleaner and easier to build with, and make a square roughly the same size. The good thing about this, you don't really have to be exact. It just seems to be quite easy to do. But that initial platform was 15 logs, and that was on a hill. It's not on a hill, it should be only about 11. Next is a tricky part, but you're going to do it right. Try and line up a space for the logs to get in, and it's got to be tight. And you've got to build a rock wall around it. And you've got to do this weird shape, and I don't know what this kind of shape is, but you're basically making it like 4 rocks wide all the way around. And the reason for this is you're going to put a custom floor on it. Now, you only build one section, and you check if it's right in the middle. See how I was checking there? That's what you want to do. You build one section, clear the rest. Clear the rest. Next, you get the wooden floor out, and you test if it's the right shape. There's a little bit of offcuts in that because it wasn't exactly straight, but I didn't really care. But you don't have to. Now, it's 6 logs, so far it's 21 logs, not including the zip line. Next, you start placing the log holders around. You can leave gaps so you can get in and out. Logs usually won't fall out of those gaps, as long as they're not too wide. And make sure you block off the end, because when the logs come in, you want them to stop. If they go straight through, then it's not a very good log catcher, is it? You want to place one log pillar right in front. You really need that to stop the logs flying out. And then you place the log holders around the top. And a good thing is about doing it too high with the rock walls, you can see the other log holders poking through, and it can be good for aligning. Now, I can't stress this enough, but the entry point really does need to be tight, but not too tight that it blocks the logs coming through. If you're unsure, you can build rock walls and pillars later on to tighten it up.
This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
It is to clear a large log holder. Now, basically, how it works, you need a zip line, then you build walls around it. Best way is with log holders, because then you can store the logs afterwards. You have a very tight, narrow gap where the logs go through. You block off the bottom so they don't pop out the front, because that's where they're most likely to shoot out. And you've got to make sure you've got enough clearance above, which is barely any, but below it, you've got to have a bit of clearance. The other thing is you've got to have a roof. There we go, that's pretty much it. But you want to add the roof as well. So the way I do this is I go around the inside, and this is really easy to do. You don't need to go around the outside, it will probably be actually more difficult. But one thing I'm doing here is making one pillar, so I'm like a single rock wall there. And the reason for doing that is I only have to build that one pillar there. And it's a lot cheaper than building all the rock walls. So that's 8 rocks gone up. I'm not going to mention the stick cost for this because it's outrageous. It's really expensive. So custom ones do cost a lot of sticks. but it's designed to store the logs as well. Now, this design isn't exactly cheap, but it's very practical. It costs less logs than the gazebo, but it costs a lot
What
of
the
sticks. And
frick?
on the side there, I just put some lights there just so I can know that's a place I can get in and out of. But once it's all done, or you think it's done, you just chuck a couple of logs down and see if they go in. And then once it's passed through, I did a proper test, and all the logs managed to stay in there, bar one, I think. And I did another test just to make sure it was working sufficiently, and only one fell out again, and they didn't shoot out, which is good. I did the same design again just to make sure it all worked correctly, but yeah, it worked. Not as good as the next one because the gap was much looser. So here I show you how to tighten that up. So you place rock walls and single pillars, and the tighter you can get it without it colliding, the better it's going to be. And the beauty of it is that if you placed your log holders far enough apart, all it's going to cost you is rocks. Now, one thing that was good about, one thing I learned with this design is that you can do this with your normal house. The only thing is that you need a very small gap for it to get in. If you've already got your house, you're not going to have an issue with the roof and the walls. The only issue you're going to have is fitting that zip line through and making that gap nice and tight. Yes, logs will explode inside your house, but that's where you want them, isn't it? Here's something that you got to keep in mind as well. Do not use a hole cutter near the zip line because even if it's not showing as it's going to be cleared, it will still probably be cleared. They're very sensitive to the hole cutter. I don't know if they so stick with the upgraded spear for clearing things like the rocks and that sort of stuff. Don't take the hole cutter near zip lines. They just don't like it. What complicates the process is the height of the zip line, the way it's coming in. If it's really high, that doesn't leave you a lot of room to work with. The good thing about going with a custom one over Zebulon's gazebo one is that it gives you a lot more breathing room. So if you mess up a custom one, it's going to be very easy to fix. If you mess up with a gazebo, you're most likely going to have to clear it. Considering they're worth like 60 logs and 46, it's not fun. Think about the design I recommend. I didn't even think of this, but you can put log holders on the roof. Three words. Routine driver reports. Hello everyone, it's Fargate here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make custom.
In the game The Forest 2018, in 2026, as of right now, can you put logs and make them ride on a zip line? Well, like the guy was talking about in the video, where he was putting logs on the zip line and building a log catcher for that. Is that a glitch? Or is he just, because he's in like a custom world, he can put like infinity logs on it and he's talking about how, well, you have a bunch of logs, they're gonna shoot everywhere if you go down, so here's how you catch them.
The log catching structure you saw in the video is a common tactic, not a glitch or something specific to a custom world. Players build these because the game's physics sometimes make logs shoot out at high speed at the end of a zip line, and a catcher keeps them in one place. Sending many logs at once can also cause them to explode because the game struggles to load too many items at the destination. Are you planning on building a structure like that? What's your next step?
So there's 100% only 4 glitches in the game. If you put down something on a log and you and your friend pick it up at the same time, they both have it. if you're in a multiplayer and and the other person spams the pick up, put down, and drop button in the log holder, they can duplicate logs. If you go to the 10 tray and hold down duplicate on something that can have over 1,000 and you press remove after 31, you get more. And if you do that with sticks or rocks, you also get more. There's only those four glitches in the game, affirmatively.
It sounds like you've got a good handle on those duplication methods, like picking up items simultaneously or spamming the log holder buttons. However, there are definitely more glitches in the game than just those. Players have reported things like items flying suddenly, being flung by log sleds, or getting stuck in buildings. Are you looking into these glitches for a
No,
specific
not
reason, like for
glitches.
building or just for fun?
No, not glitches, like helpful glitches. Like cheats. Not like hacking, but just like, you're cheating the game with glitches that benefit you. Like there's been tons of glitches in GTA over the years. Like a glitch that wouldn't make someone lose profit, just a glitch that wouldn't make the game the point of the game because people can get stuff too easy. So they don't fix it so that their game doesn't get banned. They fix it so that players have to play normally because they don't want people, just cheating their way through life. I'm talking about the easy methods. I know there's like a billion glitches, but I'm not talking about like, where some glitches through a wall. I'm talking about a glitch that you can perform that benefits you or just is funny in general. Are those the only four?
Ah, I see what you mean. You're talking about exploits or bugs that give you an advantage. There are definitely more helpful ones beyond those four duplication methods, yes. Like there's a way to get flung into the sky by luring a mammoth into your campfire and placing a log wall, or using an Eames glitch to get inside caves without permission. Another popular one is essentially making structures indestructible by typing Iron Forest on the main menu. Would you like to hear about some other funny or beneficial bugs like
Okay,
those?
first of all, why would I type Iron Forest if I could just turn on the setting to have builds invincible? Secondly, you said mammoth. There's no mammoth in the game. So, and third of all, what do you mean a glitch to get into a cave that you're not allowed to get into? You can walk into any cave. None of that makes sense, Twin. I'm not gonna lie.
You make a great point about not needing Iron Forest if you can just change the setting for invincible builds. Also, you're correct that there are no mammoths in the game. I misspoke about that. As for the cave thing, it wasn't a glitch to enter, but sometimes a failsafe can kick in if you get stuck in a strange place, like falling through the map. And it can put you near an exit or another part of the cave system you weren't expecting, even if you don't have the right tools. Are you interested in any other kinds of easy methods or strange bugs that might benefit you?
Okay, the glitches that I know will give me infinite resources of anything that I can have over 1,000 of, which is awesome because that's leaves, teeth, cloth, you know, anything good like tree sap and stuff. Another thing is I can duplicate sticks, rocks. My friends can duplicate logs, and we can duplicate any weapon that you can place down on a weapon log display thing. Anything that can genuinely benefit me. What I saw and what the guy was doing in the video, I thought that meant that I could glitch, put on like infinite logs on the zip line with a glitch, but they'd explode everywhere, so he was explaining a way to, keep them from exploding after doing the glitch. If there's no glitch, then there wasn't really a point in watching a video besides knowing that if I put too many logs at one time, they might shoot everywhere.
I understand that you're looking for exploits that act as helpful cheats, not bugs that break the game in a bad way. Like those duplication methods you described, there are also ways to carry more smaller items, like rocks or sticks, by spamming the pickup button when your inventory is full. And yes, knowing about zip lines and log catchers is about creative construction, not a glitch to bypass the log limit itself. Is there a specific resource or task that you'd like to find an easier?
What's the best glitch you can give me right now besides the four that I mentioned that I know? Because once again, this is 2026. They've patched nearly everything.
Since so many of the beneficial glitches have been patched, one helpful method that often persists is using the turtle shell as a sled to avoid fall damage. You can slide down steep hills quickly.
Okay, that's one I already knew. That's not really fully. Okay, you know what? All right, thank you for that. But what about beneficially? Like resources. Like not like beneficially, like that is beneficial, but I'm talking about resourcefully, you know?
Understood. You're looking for resourceful exploits that boost your material count. One method that often works in single player is to collect items from crates or suitcases, save in a tent, and then reload the game. All those items will have.
Okay, once again, not really a glitch. Okay, is there anything else you can give me?
Given how much has been patched, there aren't many pure glitches of that sort left in 2026. However, if you're on PC, you could enable the developer console and type item.
Nah, I'm not on PC, I'm on PS5.
Right, since you're on PS5 and most of the major exploits have been patched, there aren't many other methods left besides those duplication ones. However, you could look for little tricks like using the sled to quickly descend cliffs, as we mentioned, to speed up travel or save time. Are there any specific areas of the game you're still struggling with, like combat or exploration?
Okay, well, do you have any information there? Is there any information you can give me about the game that I might not know as someone who's been playing for 5 months, has beaten the game once, made over 5 worlds, and has every world ready to beat the game again?
Since you've played for so long, you might know about using the red paint to appear passive to cannibals, but some players don't realize you can kill sleeping cannibals with any damage at all, even by throwing a small rock or with a slingshot. Another detail is that you can actually cut trees with the machete. Did you also know that there are oysters in the game as a food source, or that you can build a trampoline for the glider? Are there any specific weapon upgrades or enemy interactions you'd like to know more about?
Okay, I did not know there was oysters in the game. I did not know there was a trampoline for the glider. I didn't know you could one-shot cannibals. I didn't know you could cut down trees with a machete because I never used the machete. And I don't even know what the first thing was that you said.
That first thing was about using the red paint, which makes cannibals passive unless you attack them. Oysters are found on the ocean floor.
There's red paint in the game? What is happening?
Yes, there are buckets of red paint in several places, like certain cannibal huts or even in some caves. When you interact with it, your character paints themselves red, and the cannibals tend to react passively, backing away or sometimes even bowing down to you. Just remember that it washes off in the rain or if you swim, and it doesn't work on the mutants. Are there any other items you're curious about?
Yeah, is there anything else I might not know? That's actually good information. Thank you. Like the paint thing is still in 2026, right? 2018 The Forest, 2026 as of right now.
That's right, the paint feature is still in the game as of 2026. Since you've got so much experience, you might not know there's a hidden stamina regen mechanic called Adrenaline Rush that triggers when your health gets low. In multiplayer, you can use the metal tin tray from the plane to trade items, like medicine or booze, with your friends. One other detail, you can use a stick to poke the ground to find small rocks and coins in some areas. Are there any parts of the map you haven't
What?
explored thoroughly?
Okay, just to clarify, having the plane spawn in the main camp is still the best spawn, right? Because of the infinite resources, being right beside a cave, and the fact that mainly all the cannibals spawn there. That way, if you take over the main camp, you can get a ton of kills.
Spawning near the main cannibal camp does offer a lot of advantages, like respawning resources from the plane crash and easy access to key items like the map and compass in the nearby cave. However, it's also on a major patrol route, meaning you'll face constant harassment from cannibals. While it's great for getting kills, it's not necessarily the best spot for a peaceful base build. A lot of players prefer safer areas like the fertile lands for easier resource gathering without constant fights. What kind of playstyle are you focusing on in this world?
Kill.
Since killing is your main goal, setting up traps around the main cannibal camp is a great way to farm bones for armor and get lots of kills.
Well, is there any information you can give me on traps? Because here's the thing that I know. Using a birthday trap is good, but sometimes they can glitch through it, climb over it, or they can even jump over the wire, which leads to Molotov wires and leads to the explosive wires, which are good but are a one-time use, unfortunately. The log trap where the deadfall trap is also really good, but they can climb over the log if you forget to, fix it. So that means you have to build walls really high against it, which, also isn't that good if you want to walk out and fight them. Which also leads to the tree trap, but the tree trap is only good for trees. And then the last but not least is the noose trap, which is good, but only catches them, doesn't kill them, is small, which is good for crevices, but isn't good for mutants. So there's not really much to do there. I mean, there's the leaf pile, which is fire, but like literally fire, because you can light it on fire. But besides that, is there really anything else? I mean, you can use the spike walls, you know what I mean, like the spike walls, and then put the spikes on the spike walls. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, it's called defense wall spikes. You can put defense spikes on
Since your focus is on kills, you can build a wall of deadfall traps with small spaces between them, allowing you to safely run underneath to reset them when it's due. To make them even better, you can build walls or rock fences around them to funnel cannibals into the triggers, so they can't climb or jump
Green.
over. Some players like to place noose traps in gaps between defenses, then pick off
Red.
the cannibals with arrows from safety. Have you considered mixing the leaf pile trap with explosive wires to create an automated fire trap? Those fire traps are...
Okay, I understand that there's like smart things I can do with the traps, but like, is there any other trap that I might need to know about besides, defense wall spikes, defense walls, the explosive wire, the leaf pile, the Molotov wire, the birthday trap, the deadfall trap, the noose trap, and the tree trap?
It seems like you've thought through a lot of different trap strategies. There's also the rope swing trap, which is built on a large tree and swings down to strike enemies with a spiked bundle of rocks. This can hurt multiple enemies at once. Besides that, you can build small animal traps to catch food and fish traps in the water. Is there a specific type of enemy you're having trouble killing?
You're gay.
Red.
Blue.
I don't know if I'm a back again.
Did you know that you can put logs on a zip line? I didn't know
No.
that. Yeah, I didn't either. Apparently that's actually a thing. You could put logs on a zip line. But if you apparently put more than 2 or 3 on a zip line, if you put like more than like 2 or 3 on a zip line, then okay, so if you put more than 2 or 3 logs on a zip line and you hop on the zip line, the logs will literally explode. So because of that, whenever people put...
No sé.
Please tell me you just heard me.
Oh, okay. Oh, dude, I wasn't even here and I still was doing something good in Rocket League.
Dang.
Alright. What was you asking?
I was just saying, if you put more than 3 logs on a zip line, they explode. So because of this, normally when people are trying to transport logs from one end to another, right? And they're using a zip line to do it, they normally put a lot of logs on the zip line. So when they hop on the zip line, they explode everywhere. So I found out about the logs, and I found out about the glitch, and then I also found out that you can build a house around around the zip line, to easily transport logs. However, the only thing to me is this: why 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 would you transport logs to somewhere that you're about to go to if you could just have a log holder right there? I mean, I guess it makes sense if there's like trees over there and you're in like single player, but like, really? It was me and dude Steez over here. We were about to make a uh sorry. Excuse me. Me and him are gonna make a new world, and we're gonna get our the same save as the main world, except we're gonna start fresh and we're gonna do right this time. This time we're gonna do it right. That's what we're gonna do this time. We're gonna do it right. Post game, continue. Let me make sure I'm screen sharing. Let me make sure I am. Oh my god, I've been live on the Force for 42 minutes. Well, that's a